What is up guys, Sportshot here, and have you ever seen a really cool Krunker map and ever wondered how do you make Krunker maps, or how do you like improve your building, stuff like that? Well, that is exactly what I'm going to be showing you guys in this video. And if we get like 50 likes or something, I can turn this into a series where I'll show you guys different details you can add to the map, different tools you can use, stuff like that. But for today, I'm just going to be going over the basics. So yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so we are going to be starting here. All you have to do is go to the Krunker homepage, and then you just click maps, simple as that, and then you go to map editor. This will open a new page. It opened on my other monitor, so I just gotta drag it over. So here it is. So I'm just gonna go full screen on this, and you can see there are a lot of options and it can look pretty complicated. So the first thing that I like to start out with is I'm going to do a cube right here just to go over the basics of how to transform stuff. So what you do here is you can click scale to resize it, so you can make it bigger on all three axes, which are, these are basically all the axes. You have up, and then your side, and then depth. They're X, Y, Z. And then what you can do here is if you want to rotate an object, you obviously just click rotate. And this is where a problem used to happen, where it would rotate the object, the model, but not the hitbox. They finally fixed that. That is why I'm doing this video, because I actually have an interest in making maps again. So cool thing about this rotating tool, you can rotate it not only around the three axes, but you can also rotate it around the axis of your vision or your camera, which can make really cool effects to some of your objects. So say you want to make a car look like it was crashed or something like that, we can go into models, which is where all of your cars are. Well, all of your models are, like your car, crates, barrels, trees, stuff like that. So maybe we want to get a car, so we're going to click vehicle right here. That is the car model. And I'm pretty sure you can import some stuff, but I'm not completely sure how to do that. I will upload a video on how to do that if I figure out how to. And basically what I'm saying with the crash thing is you can just rotate it like that, do a little bit of that maybe, and it'll look a little bit sunken into the ground. You can maybe like translate it down into the ground, which is your movement tool. And another cool thing with translate is when you can see these mixed colored planes here, these boxes, you can move them across a two-dimensional plane. So if I want to go maybe the X and Z plane, I can go through here, or the XY plane, I can go through here, or the YZ plane, I think it is, would be through here. And that's pretty cool. So yeah, if you want to make something look crash, you just put some rubble around here, and let's get into some of the other advanced features. So I'm just going to go through the bottom bar right here. So we already went through translate, rotate, and scale. You can see here that you have two switches here, world and local. Local will be basically locked onto the object. So if you want to only move something per the object's dimensions, so if you want it to kind of lock onto its rotation, stuff like that, then you can select local. But if you want to go to world, then it will just go on to the default axes of the world, and you can just move it forward and backward normally with its rotation in mind. If you go to delete object, it will obviously delete the object, so if we click that, it will delete. But before we go into that, I'm going to go to duplicate object. So if you want to duplicate an object, you just click that. It will duplicate it, although it will be slightly off, just barely one notch. So then you can move it over there. You can see it has two of the same exact objects, with all of these same exact variables, including rotation, translation, scale, stuff like that, and all of the stuff you can edit over here in the object config, but I'll get to that later. Then delete the object, do that. And if you want to, you can import and export maps. So if you want to work on something and you want to save it, you can just click export map, and it will export it in a text format. So I'm going to go right here and open it, and you can see that it has all of the assets and their configs in text format, and the files will stay really small that way. And if you want to import a map, say I'm going to delete everything here, and I exported the map that I made, what I can do is I can open up my imported map here, do Control A, Control C, so I can copy the entire text of it, and then I want to import map, and it will come up with a little thing. It's on my second monitor, but it will come up with a little box saying enter input. I will put all of the text into the box and then click submit, and it will bring everything back on the map. And yeah, that's pretty cool. So before you go on to testing your map and hosting your map, you are going to need spawn points. What you do here to get a spawn point is you go into tools, and then you go into spawn point. If I can find that here it is. And you just kind of put this wherever you want to. Now you can see it will give you an exact model of the person in their melee, I guess, mode. And this is basically so that you don't have to have, basically, like, you can see whether or not the guy's meshing into the ground, stuff like that. And you can just kind of put this wherever you want. And if you want to test your map, you just click test map. Pretty simple here. And you can see here in the actual Krunker game, we can spawn in the map and we can shoot the car. It's a bit laggy though, not gonna lie, just because it's loading on the map assets. Alright, it's fine. And yeah, so this is pretty cool. We made our little map here and it's actually playable, but maybe you want to add a game mode to it. Alright, so to make it so that you can play game modes, you will need these things called, well, I know them as nodes, but they're still in the tools thing. So we're going to start here with objective. So on capture the flag, you might see like a little yellow flag icon. Well, this is where objective is going to be. So I'm just going to set up stuff here so you can see objective, and then maybe you want, I don't know, maybe you want a like flag or something for capture the flag. You can see here, if you want to play CTF, you can have flags. So I'm going to get this flag, and you're gonna need 2 of them, so all you really have to do is click duplicate object, and then you can have a flag over here. And maybe you want, actually I think these are the only special game modes, so I'm just going to test map right here to show you exactly what they are. So we are going to spawn into this map right here, and it doesn't have a game mode assigned to it yet, but it is on hardpoint. So I'm just going to get back to this and actually host it on a team. Alright, so you can see here that this is where the hardpoint that we located is, and I will now load up a capture the flag match to show you how that would work. Now you can see that there are 2 enemy flags, although maybe you want to have an actual capture the flag match, and this might seem a little bit broken to you, but you can fix it in object config, and I'll show you how to get to that right now. Alright, so in object config you can assign different objects different configurations. So what I'm going to show you here is how to basically just go over a simple thing like assigning a team to a certain flag. So I'm going to assign this one to team 2, and you can see now that they are separate teams and they will work as separate flags. So that should work now. And if we go into this cube, you can see the config is a little bit more I guess advanced. So if you want, you can rename it, but I'm not going to be doing that right now. You can toggle it whether you want it to be visible, so if you want like an invisible border on your map or something so people won't jump out of it, you can just click on the invisible and it won't mess up the look of the map. And if you want people to be able to fall through it, then you can make it a collidable object, which will turn it blue, meaning that it is now collidable. If you want it to basically not be collidable so people can't fall through it, so it's just solid, make sure that that's green, otherwise people will fall through it, although it is green on default. And if you want people to be able to shoot through it, then you basically just click this penetration tick here, and people will be able to shoot through it, like the wooden planks on all the maps in the game, like the ones near the flag cap on Undergrowth. And if you set a certain thing to border, it will turn it red, and that will in turn make it a world border, and that will make it collidable as well. So going into technical here, you can see that there is a health option. Now if you want to make something destructible, what you have to do is basically just kind of assign a health to it, and it will, that's what the health will be. So if you shoot it for that amount of health, or keep shooting up to that amount of health, it will be destroyed. Now if you do a respawn timer, If you set it to 0, it will not respawn, but if you set it to something other than 0, then it will respawn in that many seconds. Now if you make it to a respawn random, it will respawn at a random time, and then you can do that and then have it be respawn random, and it will respawn randomly up to 150 seconds if I set it to 150. Now I haven't figured out what surface ID does yet, so definitely comment that down below if you guys know what that does. And as we get into here in styling, you can see here that the first option is texture. That will just change the texture of it. So if I want to change it to grass, it is grass now. If I want to change it to dirt, it's dirt. Pretty simple. And texture speed is basically how fast you want it to be moving. If you want it to be a moving map, you can have it go forward or backward in different ways. So maybe if I want a like boat moving through something, then I can have it be like, I don't know, maybe a wall, and you can see, well, that just looks like a brick, right? Well, you can go into color, select a color for it, and you can see it kind of looks like moving water now. And if you want it to look more like water, you can change the opacity of it so it is not 100% opaque, or you can't see all the way through it. You can also use this to make glass and a few other things in your maps. Now if you want to add shading to it, all that does is basically mean if you have shading on, it will like cast a shadow from wherever the sun is. So that is going to be about it for the basic Krunker map tutorial. Now I will make a more advanced tutorial if we can hit 50 likes on this map, or on this video. But yeah, it's going to be about it. I am having a hard time speaking right now. But definitely if you have any questions, comment them down below and I will answer them. So that's going to be about it for this video. Thanks for watching.